Abraham Lincoln once said, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet." Today we look at 10 widely believed myths that are completely bogus. Number 10. The Twinkie has an infinite shelf life. The Twinkie in fact does not have an infinite shelf life. It has a shelf life of approximately 45 days, and its original recipe only had a 25-day shelf life. Twinkies generally remain on the store shelf for only about 7 to 10 days. Number 9. Fortune cookies came from China. Despite being associated with Chinese cuisine in the United States, fortune cookies were in fact invented and brought to the US by the Japanese. Fortune cookies are actually extremely rare in China, where they are seen as symbols of American cuisine. Number 8. Police officers have to tell you that they are police officers. Entrapment law in the United States does not require police officers to identify themselves as police in the case of a sting or other undercover work, and police officers may lie in doing such work. The law is instead specifically concerned with enticing people to commit crimes that they would not have considered in the normal course of events. Number 7. Cracking your knuckles can cause arthritis. In fact, there have been no studies that have ever been linked to the cracking of one's knuckles to any negative health effects whatsoever. The popping you hear when you crack your knuckles is simply a release of air from within the joint. Number 6. Napoleon Bonaparte was short. Napoleon was actually slightly taller than the average Frenchman of his time. After his death in 1821, the French emperor's height was recorded as 5 foot 2 inches in French feet, which is actually 5 foot 7 inches. Napoleon was often accompanied by his imperial guard, who were selected for their height. Some suggest that this could have contributed to a perception that he was relatively short. Number 5. Albert Einstein failed mathematics in school. Einstein didn't actually fail math. In fact, upon seeing a column making this claim, Einstein said, "I never failed in mathematics. Before I was 15, I had mastered differential and integral calculus." Einstein did, however, fail the entrance exam into the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School on his first attempt in 1895. Although he was 2 years younger than his fellow students at the time, and scored exceedingly well in the mathematics and science sections. Number 4. The Great Wall of China is the only human-made object visible from the moon. This is false. None of the Apollo astronauts reported seeing any specific human-made object from the moon, and even Earth-orbiting astronauts can barely see it. City lights, however, are easily visible on the night side of the Earth from orbit. Shuttle astronaut J. Apt has been quoted as saying, "The Great Wall is almost invisible from only 180 miles up." Number 3. Ostriches stick their heads in the sand to hide from enemies. This misconception was probably promulgated by Pliny the Elder, who wrote that ostriches must think that when they have thrust their head and neck into a bush, that the whole of their body is concealed. Number 2. It can be harmful or even deadly to wake up somebody who's sleepwalking. While it is true that a person may be confused or disoriented for a short time after awakening, this does not cause them any further harm. In contrast, sleepwalkers may injure themselves if they trip over objects or lose their balance while sleepwalking. Such injuries are common among sleepwalkers. Number 1. Shaving will cause hair to grow back thicker, coarser, or darker. While not entirely true, the hair only becomes wider and may feel coarser. This belief is due to hair which has never been cut having a tapered end, whereas after cutting, the edge may feel blunt and therefore wider than the tapered ends. The cut hair may appear to be thicker and may feel coarser due to its sharper, unworn edges. The shorter hairs being harder than longer hairs also contributes to this effect.